Hari Om. Namaskara, everyone. Welcome to day 3 of the Kathotsava. We will start the session with an invocation prayer, and then we will chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 10 times. Please relax your body. Be aware of your breath. And with every breath, feel your body relax. Every part from the head down to your toes are completely relaxing. All your senses are retracted. Sahana bhavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vedvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. You can hold the Chin Mudra as we chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Namaskara and welcome to day 3 of the Kathotsava, where we are listening to the Leelas of Lord Narayana through the Bhagavata Purana. Today I will be your Sutradhar and Balambika Raman will be our narrator. Bala, can you Spotify yourself? So, yesterday we were listening to the story of Parikshit. Parikshit, that great king, the son, the grandson of Arjuna, the son of Abhimanyu. And we heard the story of how he was born. From the time of his birth, he was blessed by Lord Narayana. Right from the time he was in the womb, he was blessed and protected by Lord Narayana. When he came out also, he was again given life by Lord Narayana. He was given his name by Lord Narayana. And even towards the end, when he was cursed that he will now leave this body in a week because of the sting the poison from a snake, he goes off and he wants to just be with the thought of Lord Narayana. So full of bhakti. He was such a righteous king and showing the right marga to his people. And then Shukhamuni tells him the Bhagavata Purana so that he can completely be immersed in the stories and leelas of the Bhagavan and the Bhaktas. So this whole story, there was one thing after the storytelling session where I was left thinking. The story of Mother Earth, if you remember in the beginning, Mother Earth was in tears. She was so weak. She was so sad. And she felt undernourished. So, in some way, because that was, and she said it is because of the selfishness of the people, it is because of the greed of the people, and nobody was really thinking about the Lord and did not really have bhakti in their heart once Lord Krishna left and went. That just didn't seem to be the divinity on earth anymore. And I couldn't help thinking that this state of Mother Earth is also very relevant today. Don't you think, Bala? Even today, that state of Mother Earth is just the same in so many ways, isn't it, Bala?
Yes, Arti, absolutely. Yes. Looking at the pandemic also, a lot of things.
Absolutely. So look at Mother Earth is just choking. The water is choking because of all the plastic that we are throwing in it. The water is choking. All the lives in the water are also choking. Earth itself is choking because of the fertilizers and the pesticides and all the chemicals that we are adding in earth. And because of that, because she's choking, there are floods or there are droughts. And air is choking because all the toxic wastes are being sent to it with pollution through industrial wastes and all our vehicles and airplanes and all this. And even space is getting, the ether is getting toxic with all our satellite debris and everything like that. So the universal law, the laws of nature, all these seem to be very badly disturbed. And that is why we are facing all this climate change. If you look at the news, we are constantly looking at climate change, and even this pandemic situation, in fact, I think is a way for Mother Earth to say, all of you be locked down so I can breathe a little. I want to breathe. So
Absolutely.
just be locked down. She's saying. So there is something wrong we are doing, right?
Yeah. Actually,
Isn't it?
you know what? This thought, Arti, is so relevant. Okay, it is so relevant, and many centuries, or what do you say, so many years back, even in Bhagavatam, a similar scenario had happened, and we will actually be seeing that katha, and that is a solution also to this in Bhagavatam. Beautifully Bhagavan gives us the way going forward. So shall we look at that
Wonderful.
katha
What better
today?
way to see guidance for these times than from the Bhagavatam itself?
Yes,
We
yes.
will listen to this Bhagavatam story.
Yeah, the Bhagavatam story, which exactly has the same scene of Mother Earth that Arthi described right now. Yeah. So shall we all look at that katha today? Start with that katha. Yes. So how the katha starts? Yeah, many years ago, long ago. That's how every katha starts, right? So many years ago, there were there was a king called Anga. Okay, Anga and his wife Sunita. So Anga and Sunita had a son called Vena. Okay, Vena in Tamil also you say no, I don't want Vena. So it's like that, Vena. So that son was actually more of a curse than a blessing. Why is that so? Because he did not take up responsibility for anything in life. He was not ready to work because, like we all call that spoiled brat, right? Like that. Even though Anga and Sunita were not responsible for that, they tried their best to give him all the good habits that one should need to lead a mindful life. But Vena was just not bothered about that. He did not have any moral values. And he grew up, and in youth stage also, he was like that. Those days, the kings had a group of rishis. They were called Rishigan, okay, Rishigana. And he would have Rajaguru, okay. It is actually the king's duty, Dharma, to protect them, okay, and seek advice from them. So King Anga was very disturbed, because for a king's son to be like that is a huge impact, right? Because Anga has to leave his kingdom to his son's care, and he would be the next king. So it is very important for a king to ensure that the next king is eligible enough to be a good king, taking care of subjects. And in fact, these Anga, they all are descendants of the great Dhruva. We will listen about Dhruva also. You would have heard, right? The great child tapasvi. So this Dhruva, later he rules as a king for 53,000 years and all that. So Anga and all are great grandsons of Dhruva. So he had good samskaras and all that. But Vena, whoever puts in any effort, he was not at all changing. Okay, he would waste his time just, loitering around, hunting ruthlessly. Even if he sees some grass, he cannot just walk, he would just pluck it. He sees a flower, he would want it, he will pluck the flower. Yeah, he sees some ant, going by, it is not doing any harm to him. In spite of that, he would hit. That kind of so much violence in his, he thought this whole world is just for him to enjoy. Okay, and this is how he grew, with absolute no values. So the Rishi and all were also very concerned about it, because what will the country do if such a king comes? And to their dismay, King Anga passes away. Okay, he dies suddenly. So these rishis were in a fix. They were thinking, oh my God, what to do? Any kingdom needs a king, right? There has to be a leader. Otherwise, if there is no leader, then everyone becomes a leader and they take law in their own hands. So that becomes even worse. So the rishis and all decide, okay, what to do? We are left with no option. Let us coronate King Vena only as a king. And, they also give him some advice. They try, but nothing gets into his ears. Now, because he has become a king, he is even more arrogant. Okay, he is like, oh, I am the king now. Everyone needs to report to me. Yeah, and then what he does, he uses, because powers should never go in wrong hands, right? So it has completely gone in the wrong hands now. King Vena, what happens? He says, I am the everything for people. So whatever, he started collecting lot of taxes from people. Okay, he started spending money in unnecessary things. He started building, gambling houses, and he told there should be no yajnas performed, no puja performed. And he closed all the temples. He said, all of you remember one character like this, right? He said, no one should worship. I am the king, right? King is like God. So worship me. So that level of arrogance. Who else? Hiranyakashipu, right? You would have heard. So like that, even Vena was like that. All that's required. And so what happened? People, what can they do? If yatha raja, tatha praja, right? One generation of people, they were like, oh, we have got this kind of king. And as the next generation grows, they see the king. And whatever the king does, people also do the same thing. So people also became like Vena. They would go loot in others' houses. Okay, whatever is there, they would just take away. There was no dana, nothing was happening, no good. So that whole kingdom. So now these rishis were again very concerned. Rishis are always there. They are even there in subtle form. They're, always thinking of protecting the whole, srishti. They are for the loka kalyan, they said, right? So rishis are always thinking about that only. So this really, became a big concern. So they all were discussing what to do. And then they again go and give advice to Vena. But it was in vain. Nothing. So Vena said, come on, go away. I should not nourish you people also. You people are not fit to be in the kingdom. Go. So as he was so arrogant, these rishis get very angry. They all have tapasya shakti, right? They get really angry. They said, oh my God, a king like this we can't bear. And in that anger, as it burst out, King Vena fell dead. Okay, that was the effect of that anger. So King Vena died. They didn't know what to do. Then the rishis, in that anger, they just went away. Okay, and who is Vena's mother? Sunita, right? Mother is always a mother, right? She feels very sad that his son is dead, and so she did not want to cremate his body. So what she does, she preserves his body. Okay, here comes, listen, all these are Puranas written which had happened. Look at so she preserves the body. These rishis were thinking, oh my God, now there is no king for this kingdom only. What is going to happen? And like what they feared, the kingdom, people started loitering, there were dacoitry and absolute no law at all. Nobody was following any rules. Everyone was, completely adharmic. Yeah. So then these rishis got to know that Sunita had preserved Vena's body. Then they get an idea. Okay, what they do, they go to Sunita. Sunita was a very responsible, mother only. So they requested and then Sunita agreed. What they did was they took away that Vena's body, which is dead. Okay, and then they started churning the thighs of Vena's body. Okay, like nowadays you all hear some cloning and all advanced scientific things, right? Even those days, rishis with their mantric powers, their tapasya shakti and their, whatever mantras they knew, they all are so potent, right? So they started with the mantra, in mantra gosha, they say, right, all together, where in that vibration, they were churning the thigh of the body of Vena. So after some time, one dark creature, which looks like a crow, it comes out. And they were wondering, oh my God, this crow, okay, this dark creature, the limbs and all were very small. Then, for a king, the limbs has to be, they say, dirghabahu, right? And in fact, they say kshatriyas were made from the shoulders of the Virat that we saw yesterday, the Virat Purusha. So these people were thinking, then they said, okay, I mean, because this life has come from Vena's thigh, the rishis had the power of churning and giving life to that also. So they churned and then they said, okay, you go to the forest. Okay, you cannot live here. Then that goes to the forest. It is said that black creature later on, was the origin of Nishada tribes. Okay, the hunter tribes. Then they now think, okay, let us churn the shoulders of Vena, okay, because we need a physically strong king. Then they start churning with all the mantra shakti. They put in all their tapasya powers in that. Okay, they want a good king. That is their intention. With that intention, okay, it is called sankalpa. That intention in the mind, all of them put their efforts together to get that body, that then they get as they keep churning and as the mantra chanting is happening, two people come out, a couple come out. Okay, they are Prithu and Artha. Yeah. Then she's very extremely happy. And as they come out, all the devatas, they pour in flowers. So those all are auspicious signals. Then the rishis are like, okay, something good has come now. Okay, so then they all say, wow, this Prithu is now the next king of our kingdom. We have got a very good king now. Okay, and everyone arranges for the king's coronation. The coronation happens in such a grandeur. I don't know how many of you all have witnessed our Mysore Dashara festival. Even today it happens in this grandeur. Those days, yeah, the coronation used to happen like, it is not only human beings who used to be present, the entire creation, all the animals, even, the sea creatures, they say, they would bring them in, invite them, and all the devas, the higher cosmic forces, the devatas, 33,000 devatas, we say, right, in our Sanatana Dharma. So all of them would be present. The rishis, all the great munis, all of them were present in the coronation of Prithu. Okay, and all of them were so happy. Look at the positive vibration there, right? And Prithu was made the king, and when someone is made the king, they give a lot of gifts to the king also, right? The gifts, more than gift, we can call them as blessings actually. Okay, they are given for a purpose, okay, for the king to use it in the responsible way. So many give, Indra gives crown for Prithu. Okay, Kubera gives a royal bed for Prithu. Look at it, so that he can enjoy, he can really have a good night's sleep maybe. And Varuna gave a royal umbrella. Okay, Agni gives a bow. Okay, and Surya gives arrows. Okay, arrows like that would go like sun's rays, which would go anywhere. Okay, and which will go and reach wherever Prithu thinks it has to reach. And the moon gives a beautiful white chariot. Yeah, and Dharma gives a garland. Okay, it kind of, these all are, it symbolizes, yes, which means he actually has to follow the Dharma. Wearing that garland, he needs to follow Dharma to be a dharmic king. And Brahma gives a kavacha of knowledge. So all the right knowledge is given to Prithu. Now Saraswati, she is the goddess of wisdom, right? She gives a japamala. Okay, so knowledge is fine, but Prithu should know how to use that knowledge. So Saraswati gives the japamala. Okay, and so many things. Of course, Lakshmi gives the sampatti, and our Narayana, he gives the Sudarshana chakra. So with so many things, Prithu is now, filled with all this. Okay, and all the music bands, they all were saying, "Oh, hail to Prithu Maharaja!" All, they were talking praises of Prithu. And then Prithu looked at that herd, and then he said, "Wait, wait, wait. Why are you all praising me? I have not yet started working as a king. And why do you praise me like this?" Look at his humility, right? When people are so humble, they don't like so much of praises from people. He said, "Please don't praise me. After maybe I do something, then you praise." Then rishis, they're there. They said, "Okay, don't say like, the great king and all that. Say what you wish for the king, what you wish the king has to do." Then these, the music band which were praising, they started saying, "Oh, he will be a king of Dharma. In his kingdom, people will be very happy. Every devata will be happy. There will be harmony in this whole entire creation." All that they say. So that is how the coronation happens, and Prithu becomes the king. Yeah, and people are happy. But what happens after some days, after very few days or maybe few months, after Prithu becomes the king, famine strikes. Okay, remember the earth condition that Arti auntie told first, right? So remember that. So the famine strikes in his kingdom, and people do not have food at all. They are not able to grow anything from the soil. Nothing is that. There is no nourishment, no nitrogen, no potassium, nothing. And everything is gone inside. They are not able to take. There is no rains, complete drought. And suddenly somewhere, it would rain like cats and dogs, and flooding would happen. Okay, rivers were changing their courses, and because of that, the houses were getting damaged, and people were completely unhappy, because the nature's forces, when it takes over, we are helpless, and they run to the king. And King Prithu, of course, knew about all this, and he was wondering, why is Mother Earth doing all this? He got very angry with Earth. And then rishis also said, what? I think there is no nourishment only on Earth. Earth has put everything in her. She is not giving it at all. Then when they told like this, all the people also said, see, whatever we do, Earth is not even, giving us anything. Earth has to give, no? She's not giving anything. Then Prithu gets very angry, because he cares about his subjects so much, his people, right? And people are in hunger and thirst. So he, takes the bow that was given by Agni, right? And the arrows given by Surya. And he runs to actually, show his anger to Mother Earth. Mother Earth, knowing that Prithu, who is actually an incarnation of Vishnu, Lord himself, Mother Earth knew that. Okay, so she starts running. She gets very scared, and she starts running. She takes the form of a cow, and she runs. And Prithu knew about it. He also chases her in full anger. He could not control. How can Earth, hide everything in her? How can she not give anything to people? And he just runs behind her, chasing her. And then after a point, Mother Earth, as a cow, she gets very tired. She stops. She says, "Oh, my dear king, why are you doing this? Why are you chasing me? And then, this is not at all, so unbecoming of a king like you. A dharmic king should not hurt a cow or a woman, and you are doing this. Why are you doing this?" Prithu said, Mother Earth, why have you kept everything? My people are actually suffering. because you have taken all the whatever you need to give, you put it inside, and you're not giving at all. My people are suffering. It is drought, famine, there is no water in you, there's no nutrition, nothing is growing. And then Mother Earth said, oh, I am helpless, Maharaja. Okay, you are telling me, actually, you know what, it is the duty of human beings to work hard. Okay, you people need to till the soil, need to take care of me, need to ensure that you give all the yajnas to all the devas. Only then the rain will come. You have not at all fed, you have not at all given food to the devas. Varuna is hungry. He doesn't. So only through yajnas, all these cosmic forces get their power to even, give what is needed to sustain. But you people are not doing that. That is why. And in fact, even if you start now, this is because of the consequence of the King Vena's period. King Vena, he ruled for some time, and those time nobody cared for me. They used me abused me actually. They used me too much. Okay, they were digging me so much to take the gold, and they were, just ruthlessly throwing everything, all the garbage, whatever, on me. And what can I do? And nobody was ready to till the soil, ensure there is life in the soil, ensure there are worms, which all those microorganisms which will give life to the soil. Nobody did all that. And suddenly, what can I do, King? Asked Mother Earth. After listening to the lamenting of Mother Earth, Prithu understood. He said, oh, in anger, in that fit of anger, I just, spoke so much of harsh words to you, oh Mother. Yes, I totally understand what you're saying. Okay, now, right now, we will start. We will do all the yajnas that are needed, and we will actually correct the mistake that was done by our ancestors. And we will definitely ensure that we will start working. And then Prithu comes back to the kingdom. And then, at one side, he started, the yajnas. He called the Rishigan, and then all of them started performing yajna. On the other side, all the people, they all started tilling the soil, plowing it, taking care of it, and all that. And then slowly, after few months, rains, because of the power of yajna and mantra, the Indra showered rains, how much ever was needed. And with that bhakti, with that devotion, everybody actually worked their best. So when everyone together harmoniously worked their best, what happened? Earth again became beautiful, bountiful. Earth is abundance, right? So much she has. And she slowly gives out everything. She's so happy to give everything to us, if only we know to take care of her, right? So the moment she was taken care, she started giving. She was so happy to give. And that's why we call her Dhara, right? Vasundhara, Vasuda, all those beautiful names are given because she just gives when she is taken care. And beautifully Bhagavatam describes how they take so many, how each one of us, actually earth has something to offer. With this beautiful mother nature, when it is filled with that multitude of variety, so much variety we see, right? The huge mountains, the lakes, still lakes, and flowing river. If you see the flowing river from the mountains, it is so, with so much force. And then suddenly when she comes to the plain, she's so calm. And then she goes to the sea, the huge sea, so many things we see. So the adversities in Mother Nature, everything has come back, and Mother Nature has got her life back. So imagine Mother Nature as a cow. Okay, so she allows everyone to milk from her. Okay, and it is described like that. Rishis were milking the Vedas from this Mother Nature. Okay, and Devas, they milked the Soma, which is the, their nectar. And physical strength, mental strength, everything Devas. And Daityas means Asuras. Okay, they milked wine from Mother Earth. And Gandharvas, they are very good with music, right? All the raga. What does this mean? So when one connects with nature, nature gives all this to us. Yeah, through nature, these things. So this Gandharvas, they get the music, different ragas that are there. And Kapila and many yogis, they are milking the siddhis. Yeah, and all animals get their strength, their core strength. It is mentioned Takshaka, who will later bite Parikshit, no? Takshaka gets the venom by milking Mother Earth. So such a beautiful, bountiful, wonderful, plentiful, abundant earth she has become. So everyone is very happy, and in Prithu's kingdom, now people are happy. They know how to live harmoniously, yeah, with themselves and with completely with nature also. So Prithu, as he was doing his duty as the king with full dharmic way, he actually, decides to do Ashwamedha Yajna. Okay, you might have heard Ashwamedha Yajna is where they, it is a thing like they take the horse, they give the horse, let the horse run wherever, and wherever it goes, that becomes the king's kingdom. Okay, this is not to acquire, this is to kind of bring lot of a huge land under one king who rules in a dharmic way, in a because he's a good king. If that good king is able to rule, that's why Lord Rama does the Ashwamedha Yajna, right? It is like not today's how we read in history, acquiring through war. No, it is not for that. It is again for the purpose is to ensure that everyone get the Rama Rajya. Like that, Prithu is also compared to Lord Rama. Prithu was actually doing that kind of Rajya. So, Ashwamedha Yajna, I think somebody, I'm not remembering now, somebody suggests, imagine the Rajaguru only suggests. Okay, and then Prithu agrees and they all do. The 100 Ashwamedha Yajna he had to do. Okay, he finished 99 successfully. And the 100th one, when they do, what happens? Indra, the Deva's head, Indra, no? He becomes Indra because he had done 100 Ashwamedha Yajna. Okay, that was, so he got a little jealous, thinking, oh my God, I am the only one in this whole creation who has done 100 Ashwamedha Yajna, and now this Prithu is doing it. If he becomes successful, a little bit of jealousy comes in Indra. So what he does, he wanted to create some kind of obstacle in the 100th Yajna. So he goes as, dressed up disguise of a Brahmin, and he goes and brings that horse, because unless that horse is there, they cannot do the Ashwamedha Yajna, right? And everyone is like, where is that horse? Atri Maharishi, he knew. Okay, he says, oh, that is that Indra who has taken the horse. Then Prithu's son goes and fights with Indra and brings it back. Then again, Indra comes as in the disguise of Brahmin and again takes. Now Atri says, no point. Oh, my son, don't go now. Then Prithu asks Atri, what is it? Who is doing it? He says, Indra. Then Prithu gets a little angry. Okay, so Prithu says, I will go fight Indra and bring that horseback, and then he goes. As he's going, then you know what happens? To bring his Prithu, though he gets angry, he listens to the learned, like how he listened to Mother Earth. Narayana himself stops Indra and he says, oh Indra, come with me, don't get into this. Okay, then Indra understands. Oh yeah, Narayana advises Indra, and Narayana brings Indra back. Then Narayana says to Prithu, stop this, don't get into any fight. It is not, then Prithu was completely, speechless when he saw Narayana in front of him. Then he said, oh my God, why should I do Ashwamedha Yajna? You have come. So it is like I have completed 100 Ashwamedha Yajna only. When you are there, what else is needed? Then Narayana blesses him. He asks, okay, what? And then immediately Narayana gets pleased, with all this. What do you want? Then Prithu says, I want 100 years. Why I want 100 years? I want to keep listening to your katha again and again and again and again. Okay, and it is so sweet. So I want 100 years. That is the kind of devotion Prithu had. In fact, then Narayana says, as usual, tathastu. And Prithu's devotion also increased, and he did his duty very well as a king. And many years pass, and even Sanata Kumaras, they come and they give a lot of satsang to Prithu Maharaj. So after many years, Prithu Maharaj, in fact, he was about to leave his kingdom. he thought, okay, it is time for me to leave and go to the forest, contemplate, be completely absorbed in Narayana, so that Narayana will take me. Before that, he advises the subjects. Okay, he says, you people are wonderful. Then all the people say, because Yatha Raja Tata Praja, because of you only we are like this. He said, yes, when the king is a devotee, when he's a bhakta, what happens? The kingdom, we saw, right? The kingdom became prosperous, right? If everything is done as a duty. Nowadays, what do? We ask, what do I get if I do this? Right? The right comes first. But here, when everyone thinks as a God-centered work, then people start thinking everything is their duty. Yes, I do this. It is my responsibility to ensure that myself and my people around, everybody around is happy. It is my responsibility that everyone is living a harmonious life. So that kind of thought comes in with everybody. And there was absolutely no himsa, no violence, even at the mind level, at the body level, no violence. And, there were many temples where people would get together and listen to Bhagavatkatha, and that would give them actually the direction, okay, to live harmoniously. And that whole of Bhagavatkatha and the puja, everything actually gives them the, it navigates them. Okay, it gives them the direction on how one can, fulfill their responsibilities at the same time, ensure they live harmoniously. So everyone was completely dharmic. Yes, with that, Prithu said, we need to continue this, and I am leaving now. He takes farewell from his subjects and he goes to the forest, contemplates on Bhagavan, does his meditation, and one fine day, Prithu leaves his body. What a great king, right? So Prithu, in fact, that is why he is known as the protector of the world. And he is actually known as father of Mother Earth, because he has revived Prithvi. That's why Prithvi got her name. She is come from a daughter of Prithu. So that is why we call Mother Earth also as Prithvi. Yes, Arti, now do you relate to?
So wonderful, right? So the example of the story is so relevant even for today. Vena was full of kaama. And he was arrogant. He wanted everybody to call him the king. He had no bhakti also. He didn't have any bhakti. He was full of kaama. And because of that, what was happening? He wanted my wants, my needs, my desires, my sensuous pleasures. That is all he wanted. And because of that, Mother Earth was in a bad situation. And then Prithu came and saved Earth through his bhakti, and because he was of his selfless nature, where he was constantly looking at the Dharma, what Mother Earth should be protected, people should be protected. So I am reminded of when I hear this story of the importance of human pursuits, the Purushartha of human being. There are 4 Purushartha. Artha, which is earning for a living. Artha, kaama, which is my desires and my pleasure seeking and all that, kaama. Dharma is when I do dana, when I do yajna. And moksha is when I want to be liberated and be with the Lord. Everybody leaves for the forest at the end. All these kings, the good righteous kings like Prithu, like Parikshit, they all want to be one with the Lord. They want to be with the great Lord. And here kaama was replaced. From that same kaama came out a bhakta like Prithu, who then when such a person acts, then that kaama, that desire becomes more selfless and goes in the marga of dharma, right? Such a beautiful story, and bringing out this purushartha, the human pursuits.
Yeah, very nice actually. So if you look at Purushartha in Bhagavatam, there are, many different characters which we can relate to all this. They say these 4 Purusharthas, right? If you take the story of Dhruva, yeah, Dhruva, if you see, he was, just to quickly go over the story, he was a very small boy. He wanted to sit on his father's lap. but his stepmother did not allow, right? Suruchi, you remember, father was Uttanapada, and then because of that, Dhruva was very upset. Okay, and then he goes to his mother and says, my father is not allowing me to sit on his lap. He was very small, 6-year-old boy. Okay, and then mother said, whatever wish you want, only Narayana can fulfill. Then Dhruva asks, where do I see Narayana? Says, you have to do tapasya to even know and reach Narayana. So Dhruva immediately goes to the forest, 6-year-old with so much of determination. He goes to the forest and but he doesn't know what to do. He's just there, like the Jungle Book, Mowgli, maybe, he went there and he was in a fix. He didn't know what to do. Every time someone doesn't have the direction, Narada comes. So even today, he may come in some other form. It's just that we need to tune to it. So Narada comes and he, looking at this little boy with so much determination, he gives that mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And Dhruva meditates on that mantra, like, the no eating, and for years together he meditates, and the whole world actually trembles. And they say, in fact, he was standing only in his one big toe. And he was completely, absorbed in that mantra only. So all the devas go to Narayana and say, see this, because of his tapasya, everything is coming to a standstill. You please go. Then Narayana in his Garuda, he just goes and he, with his Shanka, he touches Dhruva. And then Dhruva looks at Narayana. He's completely spellbound looking at him. He has been doing this tapas to see him, but when he saw him, he is frozen. Yeah, he is just looking there. Narayana said, oh, my dear child, your desire I fulfill. Okay, you can go and everyone will take you, will accept you. And I also give a boon. Okay, Narayana finishes everything. Pata, 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 pata. Dhruva is just looking at Narayana. And he said, you will also rule the kingdom for 33,000 years. No, 80,000 years, something. Okay, take it as 30,000 years. 36,000, I think. 36,000 years. And all that he says. And then Narayana says, I will, after you finish ruling the kingdom, you will go to your own loka called Dhruva Loka. Okay. And Dhruva was just there, and then Narayana disappears. Then Dhruva comes back home, and just like what Lord Narayana had given, all those happens. And he completes his excellent ruling, and then he goes to the Dhruva Loka after his life on earth. And Narada again wanted to go and see him. He wanted to go and see, where is this Dhruva? What is he doing? He was, he was the one to whom I had given the Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. He goes and then he sees to his shock that Dhruva was very sad. He was actually crying. Then Narada asks, what happened? So Dhruva says, you know what? I was such a fool. When Narayana came in front of me, I did not ask what has to be asked. I just, I was just there, and Narayana just fulfilled all my desires. He gave me all the Artha. Yeah, he gave me all the Artha. Then Narada says, yes, there is a purpose to it. He gave you all the Artha, and you also, all the Artha means wealth, right? He has his own loka, right? His own world. So he says, all that was given to you, so that you can show an example to the world that how the wealth can be used in the right way. Okay, this whole world, we have kaama. We saw the example of kaama being used in the right way, right? Prithu actually had all the sense enjoyments. Okay, but he used it in the right way, thinking, having Bhagwan as the center, and did everything for the kingdom. Like that, Dhruva also did the same thing when he ruled the kingdom. Okay, that Bhagwan, because he had got the vision of Narayana, Bhagwan's devotion was there, and he used the wealth that was blessed to him the right way, yeah, dharmic way, towards God, offering everything to God. So Narada says there was a reason for that. And then later Dhruva again gets the boon, and then he merges with that is how it goes. But again, Dhruva is another character, Arti, where I remember this Artha in Bhagavatam. They say how when Bhakti is there, even Artha is used for Loka Kalyan, the right.
Yeah, so kaama of Venu, which then Prithu just nourishes earth, and then brings out the best in her. We also can do that, right? We also need to nourish earth. And then with Artha, Artha kaama, for Dharma also. So even when you do dana or an ayagna, if in all of that you don't perform that as a worship of Bhagwan, then even that is not successful. If you just do it out of arrogance, the whole purpose of this yajna, even though it is a dharma act, it has no, it won't be successful. So to show that, there is a story of Daksha Prajapati. Right now, Daksha was made a Prajapati was by Brahma, Lord Brahma. And the moment he was made the Prajapati, he became very arrogant. Suddenly now he feels, oh, I am the Prajapati, and he becomes arrogant. And now uh, he does not like Lord Shiva. He hates him, and he thinks he is somehow superior compared to Mahadev. So he arranges a yajna, and in that he does not, the Brihaspati Shava yajna is what he arranges, and to that he does not, he calls all the other gods and everybody, but Mahadev does not invite Mahadev, and because Mahadev is not invited, Brahma and Vishnu also don't go there. But Mahadev's wife is Sati, who is Daksha's daughter. Now she wants to go to her father's yajna, and she says, it's okay, maybe he forgot to invite, it's okay, I will go. And she goes there, and Lord Shiva says, don't go. But still, because we've not been invited, don't go, but still she goes there. And after she goes there, she sees that her father does not even look at her and talk to her. And she comes to know that it is because of his hate for Lord Shiva, and because she does not, and she is now the wife of Lord Shiva, not his daughter anymore. So his hatred has grown so much, and his arrogance has also grown so much. So he has become so full of himself, and he's not even able to recognize the greatness of Mahadeva. You know, it has come to that level. And then she says, I am Dakshayani. Her name is Sati, and she's also Dakshayani. I'm the daughter of Daksha, and I have got this body from this Daksha, so I do not want to live, because this person who is so arrogant and cannot even recognize the great Lord, I don't want to be a daughter of such a person. And she puts herself on fire. And this makes Lord Shiva so angry that he releases, out of him comes the form of Veerabhadra. And Veerabhadra goes and removes the head of Daksha. Now the yajna cannot happen because the head of Daksha has been removed. So then all the devas come there, and Brahma and Vishnu, all of them come and say, but the yajna has to go on. Please do something about it. And Shiva says, Lord, he's so compassionate and so merciful, and he knows what is the right thing to do. And he says, I had to remove that arrogant head of Daksha, but I also understand the yajna has to happen. So we will replace it with the goat head, and now that head will have all the purity that is needed to perform this yajna, so that it can be successful. If he had performed this yajna with all that arrogance, he would not, anyway, that yajna would not have been successful. So only because I want the yajna to be successful, I have removed his arrogant head, and we can replace it with the goat head, and he can perform the yajna with that purity. And when Daksha gets that goat head, he now completely falls at Lord Shiva's feet and say, you are so merciful. You removed, I was doing a dharma karya, but because I didn't have your bhakti, it was not successful. Now I completely surrender to you. And the yajna is completed, and finally the yajna is fruitful and reaches its true meaning through bhakti. So this is another example of how out of, Artha, kaama, dharma, all of these need bhakti as its main connecting thread. Otherwise it is not fruitful. But what is the highest Parama Purushartha? What is the highest pursuit of human being? Moksha, it is said. Everybody finally seems to be going into the forest and says, I want to be one with the Lord. But what is this? Can that moksha be achieved without bhakti?
Yes. So this is where we are. The Parama Purushartha. Yes, Moksha. What is Moksha? Yes. What is this? We will see that again through the Bhagavatam style. What is Bhagavatam style? Again through a story. Okay. So, this is the story of prachinabarhi. Okay. First, I will narrate the story. Okay. And then we will see what is this moksha, how is it relevant for all of us, what is it, why is it parama purushartha. Okay. So, just like what Arti had told, all the people who were in the pursuit of kaama, artha, dharma, even having bhakti as that, connecting thread, did not find complete fulfillment. The complete fulfillment comes, that is called moksha. Okay, just remember it like that. So, going to the story. Okay, there was a king. Again, he is also a descendant of Prithu only. Okay, he is Barhishada. Okay, and this Barhishada, this king, was a very dharmic king. Okay, he took care of his subjects, but he was doing yajna because he knew that his ancestors, the King Vena time, they had not done the yajna properly. He was doing a lot of yajna, but what happened? He was just doing that only all the time. Okay, it became a little overdoing. Okay, and he started to be called as prachinabarhi because for yajna they use this kusha grass. Okay, darba we call, no, kusha grass. So that filled the place, it seems. So much of yajna he had done. So the dry grass. So he was called prachinabarhi. So, but then he was basically a good jiva. So again, who comes for help? Narayana, right? Narada comes. Narada comes there. He sees, oh my God, this king, he is a good king. He is doing good deeds. But in spite of it, he's just stuck as a karma kandi, it is called. Karma kandi means the one who is stuck in rituals. Sometimes, I do the puja, I forget God. I'm saying, okay, I have to keep it here. I have to do only this. This is how I should put the tirtha. This is how I should put the kumkum on the god. This is how it has to be. The prasad, only here it should be. All this, no, we get into that kind of, so like that, when we get so attached to the rituals, we forget God, right? There is no time to think about Him. And what is the purpose of puja? Is to connect to God. That is gone. So like that, somehow this prachinabarhi, he was so busy doing the yajna, the rituals. He was so attached to that only, he forgot to think about what was his parama purushartha. Yeah, he is, the kaama, artha, dharma is happening very well with prachinabarhi. But the parama purushartha, he is not even thinking. So Narada comes to remind him, what is your ultimate seek as a human being? So Narada says, hey, why are you doing these things? Then Prachinabarhi says, oh, Narada, you're asking a good question. I have never stopped to even question that, like how we all are running, no? So like that. So he's like thinking, why am I doing all this? I don't know. I never had time to even think. Then Narada says, come, I will show you something. Okay, he takes him to a loka where all the cows, horses, Prachinabarhi, when he had done all the yajna, he had given these as sacrifices. Okay, one or two is different, but he had given so many, it was out of balance. And Narada says, see, they all are waiting. Once you die, you go to the Pitru Loka, these people are waiting to show their anger to you. You have overdone it. Then Prachinabarhi, something hits. It's like, oh my God, what have I done? Oh, Narada, you only should show me the way. Actually, it has become violence now. I have heard so many things in the name of yajna. Oh my God, what should I do? So Narada says, even if you're doing your duty, it has to be done only till it has to be done. Don't get so attached. Okay, I will tell you a story. Okay, I will tell you. This is not a real story. Narada is telling a story to Prachinabarhi so that he learns something from that. So it is called an allegory. Okay, it's an allegorical tale. I don't know. Allegory is a poetic device, you might have known, where when a poem or story is written, there is a lot of symbolism behind that. Okay, so this symbolism means each and every character symbolizes something. Just like yesterday we heard, right, that chariot and the census. I don't know, that towards the end of the story we heard that. That is an allegory in Kathopanishad. So like that, Bhagavatam is also filled with so many poetic devices. So this is one allegorical tale. The tale is about Puranjana. Okay. So there was Narada is narrating now to Prachinabarhi, just like how you all are listening very with full attention. Narada, Prachinabarhi is also listening. Okay, what do I do now? Narada is going to teach me through a tale. So Prachinabarhi is listening attentively, and Narada says, you know what? There was a man called Puranjana. Okay, and he had a very good friend. Both were together all the time. That friend was Avijnata. Okay, you note on the names. Later on, go and check the meanings. They are very interesting. Okay, because it's an allegory, everything has some meaning behind it. So this Avijnata was his friend, and both of them were together all the time. Suddenly, Puranjana wanted to explore. So what he started going very fast. He wanted to explore different places, and then he travels extensively. And Avijnata, he forgot about his friend Avijnata. Okay, and he started traveling extensively, and then he finds a city, and that city looked very, suitable for him to stay. So he thought, okay, I think this is a very suitable city for me to stay. I'm going to stay in this city. And that city had 9 gates. Okay, remember this. That city had 9 gates. So he stays there for some time. And as he stays in that 9-gated city, one day he sees a beautiful maiden. Okay, she's dancing and jumping around, going from here to there, running and dancing. And then looking at that maiden, this Puranjan falls in love with her. He wants to marry her. So he immediately goes and says, will you marry me? Who are you? And then that lady says, I don't know who I am. I just move from here to there like a wind, I'm so fast. And I'm happy-go-lucky. And then Puranjan says, anyway, you look so beautiful, you look so attractive, please marry me. Then both of them get married. Okay. And this beautiful lady, she had 10 maid servants with her. Okay, 10 servants. So Puranjan was living in a 9-gated city. He marries a lady who had who was just running and, no steadiness only. And then she had 10 servants. Then they are very happy. Puranjan was so much in love with her that whatever she does, he would think that he is only doing it. Okay. So Puranjan, if she eats, he would also eat. If she feels hungry, he would also feel hungry. If she gets angry, he will also get angry. If she dances, he will also dance. So whatever that lady, his wife, does, he will also do. He was totally into her, identified with her only. Okay. And then many years pass and something comes. No, it is not that everything is always like this. So there was a Gandharva king called Chandavega. Okay. He attacks Puranjan's 9-gated city. Okay. Puranjan could not win the war. And in the war, what happens? Suddenly, the whole kingdom catches fire. Okay. Once it catches fire, what happens? The Puranjan also dies and everyone dies. Okay, Puranjan. And that story comes to an end. And this Puranjan was constantly, when he was dying, he constantly was thinking about his wife only, because everything was his wife for him, right? When she would dance, he would dance. When she was hungry, he would dance. Everything was him. So he was constantly thinking of his wife. So because he was thinking of a woman only, when he died, the next birth he takes as a woman. Okay, so he is reborn as a woman, and then next birth he gets married to that woman. Gets married to a Raja called Malayadhwaja. Okay, that Raja was a very good Raja. Okay, he was taking care of his kingdom very well, and then after he took care of his kingdom, as everyone does, he goes to the forest and contemplates, does tapasya, and leaves his body one fine day. Looking at that, this woman who was looking at that, she could not even take that sorrow that her husband is dead. And she's crying so much of sorrow. She feels so much pain in her mind. Okay, in that deep pain, suddenly she hears a voice. Oh, don't cry, my friend. And she's like, who's that? My husband, I had only him and he is gone. I don't know what to do. And somebody is calling me. And then a deep voice comes. Oh, my friend, I am here all the time with you. You have forgotten me. You have totally forgotten me. Don't cry. Who is crying? Okay, remember. Then this lady looks, and who was it? Do you all remember? That friend, Avijnata, who Puranjana had forgotten, right? That friend comes back. Then this woman was in deep pain. Then this Abhignata says, why are you crying? Who are you crying for? Oh, my husband, he is dead. Your husband? You are a woman now. In your previous birth, you were Puranjana. Yeah. And many, many births back, you were something else. This is your body, right? And who are you? Do you know who you are? Then this made this woman think, oh my God, he is telling something. I need to really think, what is this? Okay. So with this story ends. Just like how we all are wondering, Prachinabarhi is also wondering. He says, oh Narada, you've told me a story. You told you will make me learn something. This is an allegory. Okay. What does this mean? What does the story mean? Okay. Then Narada says, listen carefully. You know what? That Puranjan is nothing but you. Okay. Avijnata is that Antaryamin in you. Okay. Antaryamin means that God who resides in each one of us. Okay. That one. And you were one with him initially. Yeah. And then you got into that city of 9 gates. Puranjan gets into the city of 9 gates, right? So our body has 9 gates. What are our 9 gates? 2 eyes, ears, yeah, 2 ears, yes, mouth, and then through which we interact with the world. Yeah, the nostrils, anus, all these things. There are 9 openings in our body. So that is called the 9 gates. Then, oh, is it? So that city is body. So you thought, you should reside in that body, and we all are now residing in this body. Yeah. And then that lady who Puranjan marries, she is none other than your mind. He says, once I get into the body, there is something called mind, which makes us think all the time, right? So that mind, whatever that mind says, we also do, right? My mind says, okay, I'm hungry. I go, that thought comes, I go eat. Yeah. When the mind wants to sleep, I sleep. When the mind wants to listen, I listen. When the mind wants to go relish an ice cream, I eat, right? We identify with the mind so much. Yeah, we become that only. We don't even know that we are not that. So Narada says that lady is nothing but the mind. And you know who was that Chandavega who, what attacks that 9 gate? Those are nothing but old age. As we grow, what happens? Our body weakens, right? And one fine day, the body gets cremated. But yet, Narada, that's what he says. So now think, Puranjan. Now think, Prachinabarhi, who you are. Are you that body? Are you that mind? We all say, this is my hand, right? This is my body. When I say my body, can I be that? No, right? When I say my pencil, am I that pencil? No, right? It's just like that. When I say it's my body, that's not me. And my thought, I'm getting this thought now, oh, it is sweating. All these are thoughts that the mind is giving. It is my mind. Yes, something that is mine, but it is not me. So, who am I? So, this question Narada puts in the head of Prachinabarhi. And through this story, he has put that question in each one of us today. Who am I really? Yes. So, who will give us this answer? And what is this path? So, the giving answer is what is Bhagavata Katha all about. As we listen to the Katha, as we get to know who we are really. Yeah, we get to know, oh, this is not me. What I say now, a very interesting, a small, what is the experiential thing we will do. Okay, all of you just close your eyes now. Okay, and sit there. Yeah, just sit. Even if I now say body, we know because we are seeing my body, right? Now say I switch off the lights. Okay, I switch off the lights. Can you say that you are not there because you are not able to see? You are there, right? If you don't talk, you are not able to hear, but are you there? Yes, you are there. So each one of us, that presence is called, okay, consciousness, chit. Okay, so Narada says, we are not this body, not this mind. Mano buddhya hankara chittani naham. It's a beautiful Nirvana Shatakam shloka. All of you listen to that. So Narada gives this ultimate jnana to Prachinabarhi. Then Prachinabarhi understands. He says, oh my God, such a deep thing, and I never realized. I was constantly doing this ritual, thinking I'm this body, whatever, all this time. Now I realize. So when you realize, I'm not this body, I'm not this mind, I am that chit, which is that truth. When I start from the baby, I grow, the body changes, right? I become a small girl, and then a teenager, and then a youth, and then now a mother, and then maybe I'll become a grandmother. So and then I die, and again I take another life. So this keeps going on and on and on. But the I is there always, right? So that, who am I? That is called true. That is the only thing which is true. So that becomes the Sat and the Chit. So the one who realizes that, we all know, kind of, we are listening, we are trying to grasp. We may not understand the first time, but as we keep reflecting on that, as we keep hearing more about Bhagwan leads us the way. Yeah, that is why it is very important that, because Bhagwan is Satchit Ananda. Yeah, now we know, okay, I am this consciousness, and that is the only truth, all that I know. But when I am strongly connected to Bhagwan is always standing there. Come on, call me. Like how Avijnata was there for Puranjana, right? Avijnata was always there. Puranjana forgot. Like that, we have forgotten Bhagwan. We need to turn our attention to Bhagwan. And then we will see that Bhagwan is there, waiting with a boat to take you all the time. Say, oh, come on. And we can merge with Narayana. That is what Bhagavatam always reminds us about. Okay, so let us all think of Narayana, turn our attention from this world to Narayana. And whatever we do, let it be God-centric. We use this whole world as a means to reach God. That is why Moksha is the Parama Purushartha, the supreme pursuit of a human being. It is the pursuit that needs to run as an undercurrent in whatever I do. Yes, all of us are you all are going to grow up and do many things. You have some purpose and you're going to do a lot of things in life. Whatever you do, remember the center is Narayana, and you go around him all the time. At some point in time, we need to completely shift our attention to Narayana. Once our duties in life are over, Narayana will wait in the boat. Yes, come. Then you merge with him. Okay, that is the beauty of this Parama Purushartha, which is Moksha. Okay, yes, so this is where we come to the end of today's Katha. So thinking of Narayana, let us turn our attention to Narayana by just chanting Om Namo Narayana 6 times. All of you sit straight. Om Namo Narayana. 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 O Bhagwan, lead us from unreal to real. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from mortality to immortality. Asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhave. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Guru Bhyo Namah. Harihi Om. Thank you. See you all tomorrow. Reflect on all the learnings and share your thoughts in the group. Thank you.